So welcome, thank you for joining for this Tech Tidbit all about Google Vids. If you haven't heard of Google Vids yet, it is a relatively new product that Google has come out with. And I would say if you want to compare it to some different things, there's some like iMovie feels to it. And maybe some Wii video kind of feels to it in terms of being able to take different clips and kind of merge them together to create some sort of a video project. But what it does is it really taps in well with all of the other Google Workspace tools like slides and docs, and you're able to add many of those different things right into the Google Vids project that you're working on. Hang on here. Gotta go to start the slideshow. What I kind of want to make sure that we cover here today is to talk about how we can kind of easily create videos using Google Vids, and I'll walk through some of its features, as well as some of the steps to creating them, and then how Google Vids could be used to help share and collaborate on different files between maybe different teachers or even different groups of students if you want to make it a student project. I do have an example here of one that I created. So let's see if this will play. Welcome to this month's edition of... Are you hearing anything? Okay. Let's recognize the fine achievements of our classmates in the areas of academics, arts, and athletics. For academics, we have Spellcaster of the Month, Hermione Granger. Hermione has successfully cast the Leviosa, Obliviate, and Expectro Patronum spells. Way to go, Hermione. In the arts, we honor Luna Lovegood as our creator of the month. Luna created a butterbeer cork necklace to keep away the nargles. She also painted portraits of her friends on her bedroom wall. Luna reminds us to be original. In athletics, we recognize Ron Weasley, Quidditch Player of the Month. Ron was recently made keeper of the Gryffindor team and has become adored by his fans. Did you know Weasley is also a wizard chess grandmaster? Congratulations to all of our witches and wizards. Keep up the good work. So I think some of the things that you saw in there that you're going to be able to use Google Vids to be able to do, you can import video clips that maybe you have saved in your Google Drive, and you can import them directly into Google Vids. You can take and edit the text that is part of the template, or if you start from scratch, you can add text boxes and you can put your own stuff in there. You could also see that there was a moment where I did a screen recording or a recording of myself from using my computer's camera, and was able to add that in there. You could hear me doing voiceover over different scenes that were loaded on there. And you notice you can add background music and you can control transitions that happen between the different scenes. So there's a lot of different stuff that I think you're able to do with that. There are a couple of limitations here for Google Vids. One of them that is it has a max recording length of 10 minutes, which, really is quite a lot. If you're going to do something that's over 10 minutes, though, you should probably look at a different tool to be able to put that together. The other thing that I would say is that while you can control the order of different clips and move them around in that editing process, if you want to do some really fine editing down to the fraction of a second, it's probably not the best tool to do some of that editing with. But if you think about importing it in, like 5-second clips or so, and then if it didn't work out, you can just redo that one clip over again. And so in that way, it's kind of okay. So let's get that, not play that again. So how do we create a new Google Vids? So you can create a new one in one of three ways. If you are used to using that waffle on your Google tools, if you open the waffle, you might have to search and scroll down far enough to be able to find Google Vids, but you can open it there to start a new project. If you're in Google Drive already, you can click New and then down to Google Vids, or you could just type vids.new in the URL, and then it will open up a new project for you. It will ask you at that point in time if you want to choose a theme. They have dozens of different already preloaded themes that you can use. I used one of the themes in the sample that I showed, and it already came in with text boxes in certain places and placeholders for different images and videos if you wanted to include those. But if you want to start with just a blank canvas at that point, you just press record instead of theme, and it will open up a blank white canvas for you to begin working on. The next thing is once you are in there, my idea here is just to kind of give you this overview that you can either then take and go back and work on your own, or you can, remember those things that we talked about, and when you open up your own, just kind of dive in and start playing around with the different pieces that are in there. But if there is something that you actually want me to open a new Google Vids for and show you where that is, I can definitely do that too. Just let me know. But one thing that you can do is you can import existing content, and you can see what will happen is when you open up a new Google Vids project is that you're going to get this toolbar. I've kind of enlarged it here. That's going to appear on the right-hand side of your workspace that you have in your project. And from these different tools, you can do different things like add in text boxes and shapes. You can add images, or if you have a video file already in your Google Drive, you can open up the folder and it will help you find a video that perhaps you're looking for, and you can then bring that into your different project. And once you bring it in, then you can resize it and make it fit into a different part of the screen that you want it to. Like if you remember the one image that I had with Hermione Granger in that example, there were two still images on either side, and then in the middle, there was a video clip that was kind of playing on a loop through there that kind of fit in. So you can really mix and match all of these different file types as you're doing it. You can also take content that's from your laptop if it's not in your Google Drive by going to the Insert and Upload from the File menu. Okay. You can also use a new screen recording from within the tools that are there as well. So if you're watching this example play throughout here, on the very bottom, where that little timeline was, these different scenes start to load. Down at the bottom, in that bottom right corner, then there is going to be a blue plus button. And if you press that and then in the sidebar choose recording, it will ask to turn on your camera probably that first time that you go through it. And you can record yourself explaining something or adding something or giving instructions, whatever it is that you have to, that you're doing for your project. And then once you're done with it, you hit that pause button. It will ask you if you want to preview it. And after previewing it, if you decide you like it, you can insert it into the scenes and it will add it to your project. If you don't like it, you can then trash it and you can re-record it. And you can do that as many times as you need until you get it the way that you want. So that's, or if you are like me and sometimes you hit the record button and then you pause for way too long before you start speaking, you can definitely trim parts of it at the beginning and the end of it too in order to get it to fit into your project. It's harder to take sections out of the middle of it though, and that's where I was talking about. If you're doing some of that finer editing, it might be better just to say, hey, I'm going to record only like 10 seconds at a time. So if you do have to redo something, you don't have to go and recreate the wheel. Another neat feature here that it has the ability to do is to add closed captions once you are done with your recording. And you could see from the menu up here, if you go into the view and I would wait until I'm probably done with it before I would add these, and then go into closed captions, and you can turn on the auto generated and it will create them for you. And then when you go to create your final published version of it, it will include those captions with it, which is kind of nice. You have the ability to add text content to it. You can see this image is showing you here from an example that was on a template where they have text boxes already pre-established, and then you can just fill in as it relates to you. So you just click in and you edit it just like you would on like a Google Slides template, for example. Or if you're starting from scratch, you can add those text boxes and then put those in there wherever you need to. You also have the ability to add audio to your project, and you can do that by taking some of their stock audio media that they have. So in the example that I played came from that stock media. And you can choose to have, you can see it dropping and dragging it beneath the different scenes on the timeline on the bottom. And then you can slide that bar over to get it to match up with a particular point within your video. You can also trim the ends of it to make it only a certain length, or you can expand it to make it longer if you need to. And it can span over the course of multiple different scenes that you see down on the bottom part of that. You also have the ability to raise and lower the volume with the speaker icon. You know, if the music is drowning out the voice and you want to make it a little more subtle, you can definitely do that as part of that. Then you can also use what they call their recording studio to help you with some of your voiceover stuff that you do. So for example, you can use the, there's a part in there called scripts that's over in the sidebar. And there you can either type in what you want to say, or you can, if you have like a text written out, say in a Google Doc or something, you can copy that and paste that into the scripts panel. And then what you'll get is like a teleprompter that'll be over your screen as you are recording a part of it. So, and that teleprompter part doesn't show up in the final version that you publish when you download the full recording. But it is kind of nice to kind of have something that helps you follow along and kind of keep yourself engaged with the camera as you're reading. Kind of a good skill to be able to have even in the video environment. And again, it works kind of the same as like the screen recording parts did, where you get to preview it, and if you like it, you can insert it, and if you don't like it, then just re-record it. And that's why I say, you know, focus on doing it in smaller chunks so that you don't have to re-record, you know, a whole one-page script that you're trying to read. On the bottom where you see the different scenes that are in there, it's kind of like iMovie in a way, if you've used that, where you can use the handles on the sides of the different clips or scenes that you see on there, and you can drag them to make them longer, or you can smush them to make them shorter. So kind of nice that you can control some of that timing of how long they are. And I found that when I was doing some of that voiceover stuff, I made the scene really, really long. Like maybe if I was reading 10 seconds worth of a script, I might have made the scene 20 seconds long until I was done recording my voice. And then I shortened the scene to match the length of what I had recorded with my voiceover. So, and it was pretty easy to be able to adjust it that way. And then one of the other really cool features here that I see about this particular tool is that it could be a great collaborative platform, that if your students are going to be working, say, on a video project together, just like every other Google Workspace tool that you can share, you can do the same thing here with a Vids project and through the same buttons in the same places. So you just go up to share, and if it's going to be something you're going to all want to edit at the same time, kind of like you could do on a Google Slides, you know, and different students are working on different slides at the same time. You can do that with different scenes and different clips here in your project, and they'll all be able to work on it together. So it's kind of a nice feature with that. Then when you are done with your video and you want to be able to have that finished product, you can choose to go up to the file menu, download as an MP4, and it's going to save it to your Google Drive, just like it saves every other Google file that you have there as well. And another kind of integrated way to use the Google Vids is you can assign it to your students in Google Classroom. As long as your tech coordinators have it turned on and made available for you and for students through the Google Admin Console, then you'll be able to have them access and use it. And just like you would create any other assignment in Google Classrooms, you could have a teacher begin, for example, a Vids project. Maybe they selected the template, the format that they want it to look like, and they give the kids the directions. Maybe they give them an example of them doing a vid. Then they can attach that to their assignment and send it out to students. If they begin it, they can make a copy for each student, and then the students can go through and they can work on their own projects. And then you assign it just like you would any other activity that you have them do in Google Classroom. So pretty straightforward, I think, to be able to use it. There are some AI features that are available if your school has that Google Gemini add-on to your Workspace account. I don't know of many schools that do. Right now it's rather spendy, but I have heard rumors that there's going to be more Gemini type features that are going to be added to many of the other Workspace tools. That's going to be part of that Education Plus account. But they're not quite there yet, but they're getting close. And yeah, so that is pretty much what I have about Google Vids.